Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide, and in today's video, well, it's not going to be the Go 7 review because I didn't manage to finish everything in time for the Friday slot. So it's gonna be moved for Tuesday. Simple reason, too much to do, and there's 3 of them to be covered in one video, even though there's like a lot of overlap, but that actually does mean triple amount of battery testing, writing testing, and all that kind of stuff, and all that stuff takes time. So you can expect the Go 7 review on Tuesday next week, but today we are going to be checking out something that I've been receiving sporadically messages, questions about, and something that I've also started to use recently for certain needs that I had in my regular day-to-day production, and that is printing the content that you create and do on your tablet, be it in a notebook or in a document. In the case of this video, I'm going to be giving you examples for the Boox, Supernote, and the reMarkable platforms, how the process actually looks like so that you know what to expect and how to do these things. The examples are going to be shown using the MDO and MMP, both of which you can find on mydeepguide.com/shop, which are hyperlinked workbooks for your general organization needs. So in the case of MDO, or My Daily Organizer, your yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily organizing needs. And in the case of MMP, My Deep Guide Meeting Planner, it covers all of your meeting planning needs. So taking minutes of meetings, organizing your meetings per project, per month, or something like that. And this is a really important element, especially for the MMP, where it's often needed to simply take out meeting notes or something like that and maybe print it out and give physical copies around the table for people that are going to be in a meeting. So definitely check out the mydeepguide.com/shop, because not only are you going to get really high quality products for your ePaper tablets, but also purchasing these directly supports independence of My Deep Guide, because My Deep Guide is a platform that brings you a lot of information, but I never do paid reviews and I do not take paid sponsorship. So I'm the one financing all of it, and you guys, by purchasing these products down below, help support that independence in a major way. All right, and now onwards with the video. All right, so let's explore the situation that I actually was in a couple of days ago, and I have my notes here in MDO in this case. So let's say that I wanted to print these out and use physical references. If the device that you're using has a Google Play Store, or is Google Play certified or Google Play enabled, that means that you will be able to print directly from your device very easily. The way that that works is like with any other Android device. You simply need to find the app or the printing service that is compatible with your printer, and your device has to be on the same Wi-Fi network as your printer is, right? In order for it to be able to find it. So those are the prerequisitions that you have to have. So I already know that my printer is hooked up to the same network that my Note Max, in this case, is hooked up to. And I'm using an app which is called Mupria Print. And this is a universal print app that I have had experience that it actually works the best with a wide variety of printers. So the very first thing is that you find the app that you want in Google Play Store, right? You go to Google Play Store here. In my case, I was searching for Mupria Print Service, right? And there it is. So that's already installed. So once you have the print service that you want to use installed, you don't get to printing immediately, because remember, in the Boox platform case, there are a couple of optimizations that you have to kind of do. And if you haven't watched that, then I really recommend that you go through the Better Boox device playlist that I have on the channel. But long story short, what you need to ensure is that the Mupria Print runs in the background and that it is unfrozen, because by default they can be frozen. So the first thing that you do is you long press on it and you check to see if it's frozen or not. If it says freeze, then you're good. You do not want to freeze the app. If it's frozen, then it's going to say unfreeze, and then you tap on it so that it is unfrozen. Once you're done with that, you go to optimize, and then you go to others, and then you toggle the stay active in the background switch to on. That will ensure that you don't have to restart your service all of the time. One of the things that I've found useful is to not rely on the service to start up on its own if it hasn't been started before. So what I tend to do is either add the app to the startup list so that it starts up automatically, or before I start printing, I just go here, I start the service, and here as well I can see like, hey, I can see my printer is there, so that's okay. And that's it. That's all I need to do. Now it's running in the background and it's ready for accepting printing jobs and tasks. So how do I print directly from a notebook or document? Well, in the case of a notebook, you simply go to the export or share option, and then I'm just going to select like these, like normal process as if you were going to export certain parts of your document as a PDF. So let's say that I'm just going to go here and say, hey, this is going to be print test, maybe. I guess we can just go print test. And in the settings, you really do not want to use vector PDF or note file. Stick to bitmap PDF. And the reason for this is that vector PDF is going to be an enormous file, and the likelihood that your printer won't be able to take such a big file, or that it's going to take a long time, or that an error may happen with the job, is huge. Note files are not compatible with printing, so therefore bitmap PDF or rasterized content onto a page is the way to go. Layers, choose what you want, and here lies a hidden benefit of MDO and MMP. They are made with high resolution printing in mind a long time ago when I decided. So you can see that by default, they're saying like, oh, A4 is 210 by 297 millimeters, but that's like 72 ppi, I think, resolution that they're using. Whereas I keep the original size, 847 1129 millimeters, which is huge, but that means that you have a much higher density resolution, which also means that the printed out content is going to be of a much higher quality. I'm going to print out both versions so that you can just see how big of a difference and meaningful difference that actually is. But for now, I'm going to keep the original dimensions. And now instead of export or QR code, I'm just going to go share. And it's going to do the export, but now it's going to pop up and tell me, hey, which app do you want to use to share this thing with? And you choose your printing service. And now he's saying, hey, printers isn't available right now, but it should get, there we go. And now it transferred all of the files that it needed to, right? So you just need to kind of wait a little bit. And this is where that vector PDF would have introduced a huge waiting time, or even a failure that this wouldn't happen. So that's why bitmap PDF. Now, what you also want to do is you want to make sure that your printing options are correct. And in my case, I want to go to more, and I want to ensure that I'm using a high quality print just to get the best possible quality that I can from the printing. Or you can do normal as well, but I'm just kind of showing you the options that you have. So you can do two-sided, portrait, copies, paper size, which is usually where your tray is as well, color, black and white, etc., etc. So once that's done, I have it all set, and I'm just going to hit print, and probably we're going to hear my printer, hopefully, waking up and starting to print soon, I hope. And there we go. So the service is starting. You can hear the printer is starting to do its thing. So I'll just wait for it to finish. All right, printing is done, and just for comparison's sake and for saving printer and paper, I'm just going to print a single page of the same full resolution normal quality, and then I'm going to print one with normal quality and A4 resolution, just so you can see what that difference is and why it's actually important. So again, same procedure, and this time I'm selecting just one page, bitmap PDF visible original size, right? So I'm going to go share, it's going to export again, and I'm going to use my Mupria service. There we go. It received this guy. And this time I'm going to make sure that the printing quality in normal, in more is the printing quality normal, right? So that's going to be faster print. So let's do one more. And here in notifications, if you have them turned on, you can see how, yeah, the progress. And basically I don't have to wait for it because now I can just kind of schedule the next one as well, which is going to be A4, share. Yes, I want to replace it because it's exporting internally as well. And now you can already see, maybe even on camera, just how much worse this quality is when you're going with A4 because the resolution is way, way lower. And we're going to print that as well. And I'm going to go back and we can compare when the printing is done, the results. All right, and here we are with the printed, this is the high quality version. And this is basically what you end up with when you print notes from My Daily Organizer or MMP. So this I find incredibly useful because you get to kind of go from one format to another. You can export a section of the notes that you've used and share that with the colleagues if needed. That's especially useful for MMP or My Deep Guide Meeting Planner, where you can simply print out the meeting notes and send them to other people, because some people still prefer to have a hard copy. But you can see in the full resolution, when it's actually printed out with high quality, it just looks really, really good. And that's one of the advantages of the Boox platform, because the entries, the everything just looks extremely, extremely good. And I just find this to be a helpful addition to how yeah, I can integrate My Deep Guide Meeting Planner and the especially MDO, or the My Daily Organizer. Okay, let's focus on this page because I want to show you the comparison between the qualities. So here is the high quality print full resolution, and this is the normal print quality high resolution. And although you can maybe see a little tiny bit of a difference in contrast and how much kind of it pops, generally speaking, I mean, for everyday use, there's absolutely zero reason to not use normal print quality. This is the high quality one. We can safely ignore that because normal quality is more than good enough. All right, what about when you export as an A4? What happens then? Well, here's the same page. And you probably can already see, even from the distance of the camera, just how much worse it is. But when we actually get closer, you're going to notice a humongous difference in quality. But even if you disregard the resolution, you should just simply avoid printing in the A4 from the Boox platform, and you should print in original size, because you can see just how much it degrades even the written content and everything, because the resolution is simply way too low. So ignore the other sizes, stick to the real size, and then you get to have your content from MDO on your device printed out as a hard copy to use elsewhere if needed. What about devices that do not have Google Play support or kind of app support? Well, in the case of reMarkable, for example, as an example of that type of restricted platform, even though you have the same type of functionality as an MDO, you do have that limitation where you don't have a print service and you cannot install a print service so that you can print and share it forward. This is unfortunate because it, as you've seen, is something that is genuinely useful. But with a platform like the reMarkable, you can use their desktop app or your mobile app, and then you can just simply access the document that you want, and then you can send the whole document, or you can just simply, let's say, select a few pages like this that you want to kind of send elsewhere. Then I can send them, and it will give you a list of apps. Now, frustratingly, for whatever reason, the reMarkable app is one of the rare apps that's actually not giving me the Mupria print service as an option to directly share to. So it's just like an extra step that's a little bit annoying. And in this case, I shared it with my Google Drive, and you can see these are the 2 pages that I've shared. And from here, I should be able to go here and then do another share or open with, depending on which app you're in. So in Google Drive, you can go open with, and then I can go Mupria print. And then finally, I can still print again. So here I'm gonna print, and I'm gonna go, yeah, everything's fine. So I'm just gonna go print. and he's gonna say rejected, but now it's gonna print. So let's see what the result is when it's printed directly from reMarkable app. And you can do the same thing with the desktop as well, desktop app, but with less caveats and problems, because the mobile app is just bad. And here's the printed result. I think that, yeah, it doesn't do any kind of stupid optimizations or rescaling. It just prints in a really, really nice quality. So that is the way that you can print from reMarkable. So you can't print directly from the device, but you can still print directly from within the reMarkable ecosystem. Kind of, sort of. Actually, I'm gonna do another printout test to see how the handwriting printouts are printed. Normally, this is really good from reMarkable, but it doesn't hurt to actually do a test. Okay, so I have to kind of give it to Boox here, because what's happening here is that the thickness is okay, but it seems like it's thicker when it's exported. So maybe that's something that you would have to kind of keep in mind, because even though, yeah, the scale is different, of course, the screen and the printed paper, but if you look at the proportional relationship between what's on the screen and the stroke and what's printed, this does appear to be a little bit on a thicker quality. However, the details and the clarity is really, really good. But watch for the thickness of the pen if you're aiming to print your MDO and MMP entries from the reMarkable. What about the Supernote as a platform? Well, from update, I don't know, I think 3.16 or something like that, you are able to sideload apps. Now, I haven't tested out side loading apps yet, but in theory, what you should be able to do is to download the, for example, Mupria print service on your phone. Then you can share it as an app. You can export it as an APK file to your computer, and then you can use the ADBs to sideload the Mupria print service or the print service that you want onto your device. Where it might fail, in the Supernote, I do not have an option to simply select a file and share. And that's why I didn't even really want to bother with the side loading and everything, because even if I was able to sideload Mupria print without any problems, I have no efficient way of actually sending a file to the print service so that it can be sent to the printer, because all I have for an option is copy, move, etc. So how do you print from Supernote? Well, pretty much in the same way that you do with the reMarkable as well. So you don't have to export. You can export if you want, but what you will need to use is either their cloud service on your PC, or you can also try and use it here on your mobile phone. And here the Supernote companion app is a little bit annoying, and it breaks away from the unified user experience that the Supernote does share. So for example, you can export in the same exact way on the device itself, whether your MMP or MDO is used as a document or as a notebook. That's not really the case in the accompanying app, mainly because, okay, let's check out the option with the note, because that works better. Okay, so if I open up this MMP example note, actually I can't do that yet because I have to first synchronize so that it sends the changes that I've made here. There we go, it was synchronizing, sync successful. So let's open it up, and I know that I am on the page 80, right? So I'm just gonna go page 80, and there we go. This is a test entry. So the synchronization, you have to synchronize it, and then it works. And here's the difference between exporting and sharing and printing ultimately from the Supernote companion app as a note or as a document. As a note, there's no problems because you simply hit on this notebook layout page, even though it's annoying that it's not really giving me the page that I'm at. It should have kind of gotten where I'm at and show you basically where you're at. So it should default to this. It doesn't, but it should. However, when I'm in this overview, what I can do is I can just simply long press on one of these pages or multiple pages and go export. Here, the user interface here is like beyond rudimentary, and this is like a horrible implementation that's really, really confusing. But basically you're in export settings now, and this is where this dot indicates which option you are using. And I can just export as a PDF. So that's what I want. And as soon as you hit export, it's going to tell you, hey, there you go. Where do you want to export it? And I can use, unlike with the reMarkable, I can use Mupria print service. And now it's going to say, hey, rejected, and hopefully it's going to get it. There we go. He got it. Okay, so let's wait for the print. And here we go. So this is the printout from the Supernote and Supernote companion app. And here we do not have that problem that we noticed with the reMarkable, where the thickness of the strokes is kind of like much higher. However, we can, I don't know how much the camera can pick this up, but you should be able to notice some aliasing here, and that the handwriting strokes rendering on the Supernote is still not using superfine kind of filtering. As a result, you get a bit of a lower quality than when compared with the reMarkable or the Boox platform. That's how you can print from the Supernote companion app as a note. However, as a document, that's a bit of a different story, because let's say now I go back to all the way out and go to my documents, and let's say I go to this one, right? So that's my document. I do not have an option to select long press and select pages that I would like to export. And the process is extremely backwards. It's really beyond rudimentary, and that like desperately needs to be fixed. So if I wanted to print out this page, for example, what I would need to is kind of flip around so you can see which page it actually is, which page number it is. Then I would need to go to export. Then in the export settings, I go to customize. And then here, for example, we go 801. That's my page that I want to export. However, there's a problem with the app where even if I choose the correct page, which is 801 in this case, and I go export, it's either going to crash, or when I restart it, I've never been able to get it to actually print a document from the app. I would either get a crash, or I would get that it couldn't read the document or something like that. So let's try again, see if I can get that error to appear. So there we go. Yes, export. There we go. And now when I click on could not read the document, and it wouldn't send it onward. So the state of the app for the Supernote is bad, and reMarkable and Supernote really need to kind of compete which one's worse. But in this case, because of pure functionality, it doesn't really work. It's actually worse on the Supernote. The desktop cloud service is better, and there you can actually integrate it much more smoothly. Maybe it would be nice to actually include printing services in both the Supernote and the reMarkable, because sometimes people do need that kind of stuff, and it's really nice, as we've seen with the examples of the Boox Note Max. So any Boox, any BigMe, any device that has Google Play service will be able to do that in a much more elegant way, and directly from the device. Okay, so that's basically how that looks like. One note that I would want to add here regarding the Supernote, and that is that I think that there might be like a workaround the inability to send files, because I'm thinking, and that's what I want to try out in a separate video, definitely when I get the time to try these things out, because it's not that easy. But if I get a file browser app and install that on the Supernote, and I get a printing service also installed, theoretically, I should be able to use the file browser's app, or file browser apps, ability to share files, and it may or may not be able to find the Mupria service. So that's where the uncertainty comes in, because I know that the share functionality is a part of an app and it should be there. And yes, the Android system is underneath it, and in theory, it should allow access from the file browser app to the Mupria print service. But I don't know in practice what the reality will be. So I'm gonna try that and see if the printing service actually pops up in that sharing option. And if that does happen, then that is going to be potentially a viable workaround, albeit
quite painful one to set up, but something that makes it possible to, or potentially possible, to print directly from a Supernote, which you currently cannot do. So that might be an interesting thing to check out, but I'll visit that sometime later on in the future. I hope that you found the video informative and or useful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification button in the description below to get notified on news from my deep guide. Also, don't forget to check out the Discord invitation link, which is always in the video description, because some people miss it out, and it's a really thriving, growing community with a lot of people and a lot of tips and tricks and lots of useful experiences exchanged there. So you're most welcome to join and contribute as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.